Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode with your girl, Audrey Codner from ACG Math Tutoring. Hopefully, you guys are having a wonderful Friday. It is Friday, 7 p.m. on the dot Eastern Standard Time, and what we are going to be working on for today is we're going to continue on with that whole concept of slope, otherwise known as the rate of change. So last time we found the slope with 2 points. Now we're actually going to find the slope looking at it numerically, that means looking at it through a table, as well as graphically. So we're going to be graphing some things. So as you guys are coming on in, go ahead and tap that screen because we want to get as many people in from the FYP. Because if you're not doing slope right now in your classroom, guess what? You're going to be doing slope soon. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that says, I'm an engineer, I'm a this, I'm a that, I have never used this a day in my life. And actually you are, because there's usually an app for it. But what are you going to do when that app shuts down? I don't know. But there's a lot of people that needs this in order to basically get your, did we get a new view for TikTok? Because my TikTok looks very, and I do mean very weird. Okay. I'm just sitting here looking at this. I'm like, this looks very weird. Okay, sure. Making changes without me knowing. All right. But if you know of anyone that is working on their GED, their ASVAB, their AccuPlacer, maybe even the TEAS test or any of those different types for high school equivalency or even for nursing, maybe even being an engineer apprentice, this is the life for you. Okay, and if you struggle with some of the basic concepts that you probably see in the SAT and ACT, this is definitely the life for you, okay? Because with the slope, that is generally going to be in your GED. Slope, anything surrounding that is easily going to be a 4-point question on the GED. So I know a lot of you guys that probably failed it before. It's probably because you skipped a lot of these questions. So why not? Let's gain some of these questions and these points back by let me show you how it's done and how you can break it on down. All right. Hey, Lynette. Lynette's on here. It's in with the tapping screen. Okay. You gave me, I'm new here. I know, like this whole platform right here is new. So this is kind of interesting. So right now I'm seeing 79 people coming in. As you guys are coming in, go ahead and tap the screen. I will get started once we get to 1K. And right now we're at 174. So we definitely need to get a little tapping here. You're new here too? No, you're not, Maya. You're not an old G, but you're definitely one of the ones that we love to see. All right. Thank you for everyone coming on in and starting on tapping. All right. Let's see who else. Okay. Miss T, thank you for coming on in. God's child, bless you, girl. Yes. Welcome on in. So we're all going to be breaking stuff down. Oh, Shy Son, how are you? I know it's a German word for shit, but here we are. A lot of people don't even know that. All right, let's see. Who else is here? Hey, Marvelli is here. Good evening to you. I know it's a Friday night, and you're probably saying, Audrey, it's a Friday night. I'm like, but here's the thing, especially when your kids just went back to school, if you were any of our Maryland family, they just went back to school all this week. It's supposedly a 3-day, it's a 3-day weekend. Why don't we just relax, unwind, get the kids out the house, tell them to go outside, come back when the street lights come on, all right? You're just going to sit here and just relax and do a little bit of math. Why not? All right, thank you. Almost there. 9:27 where we're at, we're almost there so we can get ourselves started. Now, when we did it algebraically, we had a formula. And what we discovered yesterday was that if you did the change of y's over the change of x's, it didn't matter the order as long as you kept with the path. But now I'm going to show you numerically and also graphically how to find your slope. All right, we're ready to go. So the lights go out. Jesus. Oh, you're in Baltimore County area? Hey, I'm in the city, girl. Welcome. All right, so let's zoom in. Let's take a quick little zoom in here, and we're going to look at finding slope numerically. So numerically means we are basically going to keep what slope is actually. So the meaning of slope is basically your change of your y's over the change of your x's. So we need to take a look at the pattern of our y's. So from 6 to 4, 4 to 2, 2 to 0, 0 to -2. So there's a pattern that's going there. And then the pattern of our x's from -4, 0, 4, 8, and 12. So pattern of my y's, it's going down, and it's going down by 2. So I'm going to have a -2 here. Then for my x's, I went from -4 to 0 to 4 to 8 to 12. This pattern is going up by 4. So all we're going to do for us to find the slope of this is basically say, well, the pattern of my y's is a -2. The pattern of my x's is a +4. So -2/4, that can be simplified. Both of them are even. Anytime I get even numbers, I immediately think, all right, this needs to be simplified. So what has 2 and 4 have in common? It is a 2. So to simplify, I'm going to divide both the numerator and the denominator by 2. So in actuality, my slope is going to be a -1 over 2, or we can simply say a -1/2. Okay. Business funding, thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow, everyone. Okay, hey Eric, I think I see you sliding on in here. All right. So that's all you're doing numerically. You're looking at the patterns. Now, if there isn't a pattern, you would actually have to pick 2 points to find your slope. So let me unzoom a little bit, or a lot, and let's slide over to our next one. And let me just cover this part up so it won't get too confusing. So now we have the pattern of my y's. We got -3, -1, 1, 3, and 5. What is the pattern of my y's? Put it in the chat. For me to go from -3 to -1, -1 to 1, 1 to 3, and 3 to 5. What is my patterns? Go ahead, put it in the chat. Okay, Saishan saying increase by 2. Okay, do we agree? Okay, Maya agrees with you. She's saying +2. Okay, we get answers to 3s. That's when I know it's true. All right. Creepy Creepin' is actually a name of someone coming in here. That's interesting. All right, so we have our patterns going up by 2. So boom. So now for my x's, we have from -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. What's the pattern of my x's? They were deceitful. They cheated on me. One cheated on me with a barmaid. Not a bartender, a barmaid. Interesting. Yes, increased by 1. Good. Miss T, awesome. By 1. So we're increasing by 1. So now we have 2 divided by 1, which is simply, we can say the slope is 2. Now, what happens if you're just like, oh, I can't remember? Like, how do I find it if I can't remember the pattern of my y's and the pattern of my x's? Well, since we have a table filled with points, we can pick points from this graph. I usually like to go with the lowest and then the highest. Okay, so this will be my y1, this will be my y2, this will be my x1, this will be my x2. So if you want, remember the y's always go on top. So if I want to do it algebraically, I can do 5 minus a negative 3, because there was my 5, minus a negative 3, over my 2 minus a negative 2. So what happens when you minus a negative? That means it's going to turn to a positive. So when you minus a negative, we got 5 plus 3, which that gives me 8. Then when you minus a negative down here, that's 2 plus 2, that gives me 4. And then 8 divided by 4 gives me an answer of 2. And what do you notice? Both of them gives you the same answer. So you see, you can simply just find the pattern of your y's over the pattern of your x's, or you can pick a set of points. I like to go with the highest and the lowest. That's just me, just so I have a nice little range. And then I can plug it into my formula, which is your y2 minus your y1 and your x2 minus your x1. So when you take these type of tests, GED, ASVAB, Accuplacer, you're not taking those tests just like you would if you were in the classroom. Okay, so these tests, they just care, did you pick A, B, C, or D? They don't care which process you did to get your answer. They just want to know, did you pick the right letter with the right answer? Okay, all right, so go ahead. Yay, look at you guys, this is awesome. So keep chiming away, you're doing great. So now, let's take a look. I'm going to try to keep the previous one up here, but that might be a little difficult when I expand. Let's see what we got. Something like that. Okay. So, what's the pattern of my y's over the pattern of my x? Tell me my slope. Oh, thanks, Lynette. Send me a donut. Yeah, I'm on the verge of going out and buying a donut. No, I can't. Okay, so mine is saying 3, 1. So my x's are 3 and my y's is 1. Okay, now how would you write it as a slope? Because we don't want to write it as an ordered pair. How would I write it as a slope? Or the rate of change? Virtual donuts are the best. There you go, Shashan. There you go. So we got 1 over 3. We got 1/3. Yep, no question mark. Get rid of that. Confidence, people. Confidence. Okay. There you go. So just 1 over 3. That's all you have to do. You don't even have to put the y's and the x down, because your y's are always going to be your numerator. Okay, what you depend on, your output is always going to be over your input. Your dependent is always going to be over your independent. Okay. There's 2 with the other. Has a 0. Can I do the same as 2 with the other formal, even if it has a 0? Yep. Oh, like when we were doing the subtraction? Sure, I could show you that too. So if anything, my y's were going down by 1. So since it's going down 1, it's going to be a -1, because from 4 to 3, we had the -1. 3 to 2, we had to minus 1. 2 to 1, we have to minus 1. Okay? So over here is going to be, our pattern is going to be minus 1. Now over here, from -4 to -1, that was a plus 3. From -1 to 2, that was a plus 3. And if you don't see it with the negatives, sometimes this is what I do. I look at from the positives. I'll be truthful. Sometimes I jump down here and I say, okay, 2 to 5, okay, that's plus 3. Let's see if it works for the other one. 5 to 8, yep, that's plus 3. So that's going to be my pattern with the x's. So your slope is actually going to be a negative. Okay, so it's going to be a -1/3. Okay. Now, if I wanted to do with the equation, I know we're supposed to just focus, but you never know. Some people like algebraic. So if you want to take the first and the last terms, that's going to be your y2. That's going to be your y1. This is going to be your x2. That's going to be your x1. So it's my m is going to equal 0 minus 4 over 8 minus a -4. Okay, so if we want to do it algebraically. So now, 0 minus 4, that gives me a -4. Okay. When you minus in the denominator, 8 minus a -4, when you minus a negative, that turns positive. So 8 plus 4, that will give me 12. So now -4/12, the number that 4 and 12 both have in common, 2 will work, but 4 will be your greatest. Okay, 4 will work for both of them. So that means -4 divided by 4 will give me -1. And 12 divided by 4 will give me 3. So you still get the same as -1/3. Okay. Machiavelli, how are you? Oh, big fish. Hey, Danny, how are you? Okay. Give it to 5K. I appreciate that. All right. So you can see that if you just simply do the patterns, or you can do the algebraic, you're going to get the same answer. Okay. So let's slide over to here. Okay. Tell me what my slope is. Okay. Monica, thank you so much for the rose. I appreciate it. Hey, Jasmine. You're saying -3/2. Careful. And take a look again. This one has a little twist to it. There you go. Okay. So the pattern of your x's okay. There we go. There you go, Kaya. All right. So Jasmine says -3/0 is Akesha saying 3 -1. Kai is saying -3/0. Big Fish says 3/2. Okay. Okay. The Real saying 0/2. Smiley, thank you for your honesty. I have no clue. Not a problem. Thank you. Okay. I will show you in a moment. All right. So, any other answers before I show? Okay. All right. So, Queen's saying 0 and negative 12. Okay. So, we have another one with 0. Okay, 0 a couple times. All right, so now take a look. For my difference of my y's to go from a 2 to a 2, I didn't move. I didn't move at all. To go from a 2 to a 2, I still didn't move. From 2 to 2, I still didn't move. So over here, for my y's, it's actually going to be a 0. Because it didn't increase, it didn't decrease, it basically stayed the same. But for my x's, I started up from a 6 to a 3. So that means my numbers are getting lower. So if they're getting lower, there's got to be some kind of subtraction going on here. But subtract by what? So if we're going from 6 to 3, that looks like a 3. From 3 to 0, that looks like a 3. From 0 to 3, that looks like I'm subtracting 3. So my pattern is minus 3. So remember, it's the change of your y's over the change of your x's. So you're going to have 0 over negative 3. If I want to simplify this, since my 0 is in the numerator, my slope is going to be a 0 slope. 0 slope means I'm going to have a horizontal slope. Anytime you have a 0 slope, that means you're going to have a horizontal line. And it's only going to cross, guess where? When y equals 2. Okay, you see it now? Okay. Yep. So when you're looking at the pattern, you're just saying, okay, I start at 2. Okay, I'm at 2. All right, great. Okay, I'm still at 2. I'm still at 2. So that means my y values are not changing. My x values, we started at 6, went down to 3. That means we're subtracting. Well, from 3 to 0, that means we're subtracting by 3. From 0 to minus 3, that's going to give me my negative 3. Okay? So then you have that as your slope. All right. All right. Perfect. Let's go. Starting to get it? Awesome. Good. Okay? Because sometimes this is so much, especially if they give you a table, looking at the patterns of your x and y's is so much quicker than doing the formula. But there are going to be times when you don't see a pattern that you will have to use this formula to solve. Okay, so don't just chuck it out the window. I think the first thing I would like to do is check out the difference excuse me, of the x and y before I do anything. All right, so let me unzoom so you can see all of this. And this is all based on one problem, okay? And you're going to pick either A, B, C, or D. So it says, which table shows the same rate of change of y with respects to x as y equals negative 1 plus 4x? Okay? We haven't talked about the equation of the line yet. But basically, we're looking at this formula. Y equals negative 1 plus 4x. How can I tell which one of these 4 tables is going to be connected to that equation? Yes, Hart. So if it's all the same numbers, it's going to stay 0. Correct. Because if you subtract 2 minus 2, that's going to give you 0. Okay. 49 back in school, having to take all my algebra again. That's all right, Smiley. Look, I'm proud of you for going back. I'm proud of you. And, you know, it may not be an easy feat, but guess what? If you have questions, you got a place to go now. Okay? Actually, you got a couple places you can go. So as you guys are trying to look at this, you can also, all my recordings, except for last night's recording, I don't know what was going on with TikTok. It just would not let me download. So if anything, if you go to here, all right, type in this or type in my name. Okay, one of the two. All of my recordings, except for last night's, is on there from February 2nd. And there's a playlist called TikTok Lives. Okay, so if you ever want to take a look at any of my recordings, maybe a concept that you might be on now that I'm not presently covering, you know, I have a tendency to repeat certain things. So, or a lot of things actually. So if you go there, go ahead and take like a little screenshot. Hold on, let me unzoom a little bit so you can take a whole screenshot of it. I'm going to take it down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so that's where you can go to get all of our stuff. Oops. Okay. All right. Not a problem. Okay, not a problem, Francis. I mean, look, I love how people say they old. Do I have a worksheet link? No, I do not. Okay, but I do have a course that is on my website. I'll give that in a few. Okay. Okay. Oh, Danny, don't worry, darling. It's Friday night. I'm expecting trolls. I'm expecting people to be like, but see, here's the funny part. When people say, oh, next subject, I'm bored. But here's the thing. They decided to stop here. I don't know if it's the voice. Maybe it's my knuckle that just turns them on. But they just want to stay here and just listen to my voice, lulling them to sleep. Bringing up such crazy fantasies. Get nasty. All right, so anyway. Okay, so we got a couple of guesses. All right, so we have a C, we're having a D, we have a couple people guessing C's. Machiavelli is laughing at me. All right, you failed pre-algebra in high school twice. Had to take remedial math as a senior to get my diploma. Look, Francis, that tells me that you are a fighter. Okay, one, you're in the right spot. You're in the right live. You know, I don't really usually deal with quitters. I don't, and you don't quit. So guess what? You're going to be fine. All right? You're going to be fine. Take a breath. Okay. Would you choose values that they share? So do we solve for X first? No, you don't have to do all of that. Okay. So here's one way that we can do it. We have our lovely equation, which I'm going to write again on the left-hand side so I can do a little bit of work over here. So we have this equation, y equals -1 plus 4x. So instead of you solving, first of all, you don't have to really solve. We're going to talk about equations on the line tomorrow. But what you could do, they're giving you values of x. They're giving you values of y. So if I take this -3, let's just start with that one first, and I plug it in for x in the equation, I want to know, would -12 equal -1 plus 4 times the -3 that I'm going to substitute in for x? Let me zoom. So now we have our -1 4 times -3, that itself gives us a -12. Okay, a +4 times a -3 gives me a -12. Now I got -1 minus 12. So if you owe me $1, and for some sick and twisted reason, I loaned you another $12, that means you owe me $13. And last time that I checked, negative 12 does not equal negative 13. So right away, A is X'd nay. That's a no. I don't have to keep going. All I have to do is just get a sample. Okay, makes sense? All right. Okay. Why not use 2? What do you mean? Oh, you can use any number. It doesn't matter. I just picked one. Yeah. Guys are just so worried about stuff. Okay? Right. So we see how that doesn't work regardless. Even if I pick 2, it didn't work with this one. So if it doesn't work with this one, it's not going to work for that table at all. Big X. Done. Since we're on this side, let's pick C. Since a lot of you guys are saying, yeah, pick C, pick C. All right. I know for sure if we're going to do that substitution, let me take a wild stab what numbers you want me to substitute. I think it's going to be 8 and negative 1. And you know how I know that? Because you're my people. And you know I'm lazy. And that's smart, right? So I'm going to plug the 8 for the X and the negative 1 for the Y. So if I got my negative 1 equals negative 1 plus 4 times my X, which is 8. Yep, I'm not lazy. Right. Okay. So every table has a 2. Okay. Yeah, you can put the 2 in there if you want. Okay. So is that going to work? Okay. So check 2 because they all have it. Okay. Nope. Doesn't work. So there were some of you guys that said C from the beginning. So now we got it down to B and D. So since we have this one equation over here, so we know that our answer, if we plug a 2 in for the X, we want to see what that Y value is going to be. It either is going to be a 0.8 or it's going to be a negative 8. Okay, those are the only 2 options. Okay, so if we go over, we have our negative 1 plus 4 times the 2 that you want me to check. Okay. There you go. So you got your 8. So negative 1 plus 4 times 2, that gives me my 8. What's wrong? Hey, Janice. Yes. So we got negative 1 plus 8. That gives me 7. That's not what that's saying. And that's not what that's saying. So what could we say for this? Okay, no, right, none will go. It doesn't work for any of them. Yep, it doesn't work for any of them. Because if it worked, it will show. It doesn't work for any of them. No, there's no rounding. Okay. All right. All right. So, no, it's not a waste of time. This showed a reason. Thanks, Machiavelli. This showed a reason. When you guys try to pull things, okay? When you try to pull things, and this is a real life story, I got this off the internet. So you're going to tell me, when you pull things and you're free and you're trying to study for your GED, your ASVAB, your Accuplacer, some things may work, but unless you try it out for yourself, you have no idea what's going on. You have no idea what's going to be preached out there. So you always got to throw things out there. So that's why it's important to at least know some of the concept. You guys all said that, hey, all of them had a 2, and that would have been great to plug in with the 2. Awesome. Good idea. Didn't see it. You guys did. That's awesome. But when it comes down to like, oh, okay, well, let me get this and let me get this free thing on here and let me get this free thing on there. Sometimes there's a reason why it's a released question. Now, that's where we have to be cautious, because sometimes, especially for the GED, the ASVAB, the AccuPlacer, they do have some free things on there. Ooh, sorry, I'm shaking. But there are a lot of errors. The reason why some test questions are released is either because a lot of people either got the answer on that, so yeah, we got to release that and, put it in the reserves, or no one got that answer, or there's a major error. Okay, so there's reason why there's all those release questions. So sometimes the explanation of the release questions, maybe there's an error with the explanation. So be cautious of all the stuff that you can get free online. Okay, just to be cautious. All right, awesome. So you couldn't answer that question. This will be probably like a not acquirable. Okay, definitely can't use that one. Would this be on the T's? Yes. Anything with slope, equation of lines, looking at slope numerically, looking at it algebraically, looking at it what we're about to start next, which is graphically, they are all on all standard exams. Okay, GED, ASVAB, the TEAS test, any of the nursing, pre-nursing examinations, because there's so many different letters and so many different versions. Even praxis for teachers, they all have slope. Everyone has rate of change. Okay. Yep. Cool. I know. So you guys got to remember, I used to be a classroom teacher, like a high school classroom teacher. I am used to young men drawing penises on their papers all day. It's like they're obsessed with it. I don't know why. I have no clue. So a lot of things don't razz me up. It really doesn't. Okay. So give me some time to set up the next bits, because I'm going to try to put like some graphs up here. I didn't know how much room I'm going to need, so that's why I didn't pre-tape. But we got this. Aw. A walking encyclopedia. I'm a walking train wreck. Thanks, Mac. All right, Mel, love that. I love when it's like, I love math. And sometimes like I love when people come on here that are teachers or that are parents and they just want to, I don't know, see math for what it was. Okay. So we're going to look at it graphically. Actually, I'm going to do that next one. Okay. So if anyone ever feel like they're just getting started on the college algebra and they're starting to feel a little stuck with their course and they need assistance, I do tutoring as well. That's actually my main job. I used to be in the classroom for like 22 years, and then all of a sudden I was like, you know what, I'm done. English lit. Okay, you keep saying Swahili big fish. Okay, so let me address this. Obviously, I do not speak Swahili. Okay, so if you haven't figured that out, it kind of screams your intelligence just a moment. So if English is a hard thing for you, I'm so sorry, but not sorry. So it'll be nice if you just keep saying Swahili. But if you want to keep saying Swahili, go ahead. Do it, but do it on someone else's platform. Thank you. Okay. All right. You did the same thing, Mac. I appreciate you. Thanks for tapping away. Okay. Yep. I do private lessons, but it also depends on what exactly you need help with, because there are some people that have been coming on my timeline and they'll say that they want private lessons, and next thing you know, there's a marriage proposal. Yeah, I had that yesterday. Yeah, that was fun. I'm like, what? You guys are hilarious. I mean, I know cuffing season's like right around the corner, but Jesus, you're that hard up. What grade do I teach? I know, right, Mel? So I teach 10th grade all the way up to adults. So like for adults that are going back to college, maybe like community college, I can do like the intermediate or the college algebra. So I break all that down, but I go all the way up to pre-calculus. Okay. I know, right, Francis? It's hilarious. I'm funny. Yeah. My life is freaking hilarious. Supposedly, I could be the queen of someone's harem, I think it was. I was like, really? A harem? I'm not even the main girl? That sucks. Mama didn't raise no side piece. I don't know how y'all were upraised, but I was not raised to be anybody's side piece. That's for sure. Yuck to pre-calculus? Oh. I mean, my whole thing is, the reason why I have this platform, just as I'm finishing up taping, is to help those that had a really bad experience with math. So I know there's people that'll come on here and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm a mathematician and I know how to do this. Okay, congratulations, bully for you. But I'm talking to the people that when they were younger, you had the teacher that knew everything but didn't know how to break these concepts down. That's who I'm talking to. I'm talking to the people who are noticing that their kids are struggling with math and you want to help them. And, you know, money is tight, but at the same time, you're telling your kid that, hey, I have a math phobia. That's not my jam. You're going to have to defend for yourself. I want to help to empower you to see if you can help your child. Okay, at least up to Algebra 1. And for those that are going back to school, because you haven't seen algebra since you were a fetus, so now you're coming back to it because you need some kind of college credit for a job that you've been doing for the last 20 years, but all of a sudden they decide that, hey, you should get a college degree in order to do this job. And you're like, dude, I've been doing it for 20 years. Now I need a degree? Okay. So those are the people I'm talking to. Okay, those are definitely the people that I'm talking to. Okay. All right, so we are doing all of those. Okay. Pieces to algebra? Sure. From the very beginning. All right. Thank you for your patience. Here we go. Oh, math couldn't help me learn. I know, and that's fine. Geometry's your worst nightmare. And see, my thing is geometry, it hits a different part of your brain. So I am a true believer that there are a lot of people that know the algebra and just struggle with geometry, or they're amazing at geometry, but their algebra skills is a little bit of a struggle. And I definitely have a couple students like that. Their geometry, easy. I don't even know why they needed me as a tutor. But algebra, when they threw some algebra into it, like proofing, yeah, that was a bit much. All right, so let's take a look at this. So we have, if you notice, there's 2 points. 1 point there, 1 point there. So if you recall with slope, slope is basically your rise over your run. Okay, so for your rise, they're talking about your y-axis. That's when you're going up or down. Okay, if it's positive, you're going up. If it's negative, you're going down. Now for your run, they're talking about your x-axis. That's your left to right. If it's negative, you're going to the left. If it's positive, you're going to the right. Okay? So you have to decide which point you want to start with. Okay? We're not talking about y-intercepts just yet. We're just focusing on slope. Meaning, how do I move from one point to the other point? So I could go start at this bottom point here. So if I want to, I can count up 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Think of it like this is your house. You want to get to your friend's house. So you're going to have to go up a couple city blocks, if you know what a city block is. Now, you can't go through someone's house. I live in Baltimore. That's how you die. Okay? We don't want to do that. So if I'm going from one point to the next, I have to go up 1, 2, 3, 4 city blocks. So I went up 4 blocks. And then I'm going to the right 1 block. So I'm going to the right, so that's a positive 1. Positive numbers go to the right. This is going all the way to positive infinity. Okay, and this is going all the way to negative infinity. So your rise over run is going to be 4 over 1, which could be simplified to 4. Okay. All right, good. So you go. Here we are. So now, in order to help them grades up or had a mentorship through the co-op. Okay, good. All right. Same thing is happening for this one. And this one I'm going to show you 2 different ways. So we have 1 point and we have another point. So let's just say we wanted to start with this point. Notice it's a point on the line because one is intersecting my grid right here and it's going right through. So if I start from this point and I want to get to this point, that means I need to go 1, 2, down 2. So that's negative 2. And then over 1, 2, over to the right, positive 2. Okay. So since I started at this point up here, I went down 2 and to the right 2. So that means my slope, remember, even though my rise is negative, that still remains in the numerator. My run is always in the denominator. But negative 2 divided by 2, that gives me a negative 1. Okay, good. Thank you, Dying Cat. Dying Cat yarn. All right. Now, I did mention that I was going to show it a different way. What happens if I decided to start at this bottom point going to the top point? Well, I would go up 2, so that's a positive 2. But I would go to the left 2, so that will give me a negative 2. Anytime I go to the left, it'll be negative. So let me start again because I think my hand was in the way. So if I start at this point here, I went up 2 and to the left 2. When I was going to the left, we made it negative. So that slope is going to look like this. We went up 2, so that's my y value, and we ran in the negative direction 2. This still gives me a negative 1 as a slope. So when it comes down to negative slopes, one of the other, let me unzoom a lot, just one of the other needs to be negative. Either the numerator or the denominator needs to be negative. Okay. Hey, Michael. You have to go to detention. You're about GED math teacher also? You're about? Or you are? Go get a pass, Michael. Go get a pass. Okay, so this kind of shows that no matter what, the numerator or the denominator has to be negative. Now, there's going to be times you're going to see in your books when they talk about slope, they're going to say, all right, m is equal to negative, let's say 2 over 3. I'm just making up another slope. If they put the negative off to the side, majority of the people will just make the numerator negative. But guess what? You get to pick. Is it going to be the numerator or the denominator? It cannot be both. Because if it's both, that means we're looking at a positive slope as opposed to a negative slope. Okay? So when you get something like this and they give you the graph and they say find, say, the equation of the line, well, from left to right, that line is going down. So if that line is going down, we're looking at a negative slope. So anything that gives you a positive slope, eliminate. Okay, cross it out. And you might be able to get your 4, sometimes, depending on the test, 5 choices down to maybe 1 or 2. And then you just have to look at some other things, which might be the y-intercept. Okay? But by doing those little tweaks and knowing what you're looking for, you're going to save a lot of time, and you're going to be able to take that extra time that you would normally use for a problem, because you got like roughly like a minute 10, a minute 12 per problem. So if you can answer one question in like 10 seconds, now you can use a lot of that extra time into problems like maybe some of the word problems, maybe some of the system of equations. So that will kind of help break up things. Okay. All right. Well, you've been here, Francis. You're silly. You guys are great. All right. So take a look at this next one. Try to tell me what my slope is. What is my slope? Okay, Ben saying -2. Slippery slope. Oh, OMD. How are you? Okay, we're saying like, is that clicky? Is that L or I? It's saying 4 -2. Could it be reduced? Okay. Nazo. How are you? Okay. Don't forget your negative. There you go. Good. It's been a minute. Okay. All right. So they gave us 2 points. You could do one of two things. You could go up 1, 2, 3, 4. So I went up 4. And then go to the left 1, 2. So that would be a -2. So my rise, I'm going to put it over here. My rise was the 4. And my run was the -2. But that can be reduced. Okay? You can simply look at it as 4 divided by -2. A positive divided by a negative, that will give us a negative. And then 4 divided by 2 will give us 2. So you could say your slope is -2/1 or just -2. Okay. All right. So how about this one? What's my slope? Keep missing the breakdown. Okay. Okay, so Michael's saying 0. Mazzo is saying 0. Horizontal line, so 0. Okay, girl, don't follow me. 13 saying 0. I always like that name. Welcome back. Girl, don't follow me. I might be posting some stuff. So, again, you have a horizontal line. There is no rise. Okay, so we don't have a rise, so that would be 0. My run is just basically almost like ones. In this case, -1. But anything divided by itself, or 0 divided by anything, will give us 0. If I were looking at an equation, my equation would be y equals -1. Vertical line approaching. Not tonight, Ben. Not tonight. I'm trying to really break down the thing called slope without me throwing out like, is it a function? Is there? Yeah, it's coming. It's coming, but not for tonight. I want to let kill. All right. So, what is this? What is this slope? Oh, good. Okay. It's not 0. It's not 0. Interesting guess. Because remember, if we said this is going to be 0, now for the line to be vertical, that's not going to be 0. No, it's not 3/2. Alex, what is negative? It's not 3/2. Alex, what is -3? All right, there we go. Sorry. Glitch in the matrix. No, someone tried to call me. All right. So, yes. Little John. Is this little like the Little John? Okay, so that'll be undefined. Cody, undefined. Okay, yes, I'm definitely back. All right, so when it is a vertical line, it's undefined. Okay. Okay, so when it's just a vertical line straight up and down, it's undefined. When it's a horizontal line, like over here, that's going to be a 0 slope. Okay? Because here's the thing, just like what Ben was trying to say, that if we did a vertical line test, oh, I know, that means this line will basically will have the same x values throughout. Okay, remember our x's cannot repeat, so this is going to be an undefined. Okay, undefined slope. Yes, and it's not a function. Good. Thanks, Cody. Appreciate you. All right. Okay, one more, maybe two. See, this time, this is why I wanted to do this one last. I accidentally taped it early. This time, we are not given points. Okay, we're not given points. But there are a couple of points that we can use to find our slope graphically. So if I zoom in massively, and I'm going to show you what one of the points look like. Like this point right here at 1, -1. That is considered a point because you see how it crosses the grid line almost perfectly, okay? That's what you need to look for if they ever just give you a line and they don't give you points. So a lot of people are like, I don't know what point to pick, because if you try to say, let me pick this point here, it may be right in the middle of these 2 points. It may not be. But all I know is I can definitely use this point here, but I need another point. So it looks like another point where it crosses perfectly is right here. And this is at what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So it's at 4, 3. So we're looking at these 2 points. That's a straight marking. Sorry. Okay. So we need to find the slope using those 2 points. Now looking at your graph, from left to right, it's increasing. So we know it's a positive slope. So if you ever get any answer choices that says a negative slope, easily eliminate them. That's it. So now we just need to count from this point on the line to that point on the line. All right. Okay. Oh, okay. Give me a second. I'll go back to it. All right. Lozma. Hey, Robert, how are you? So we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. So we went up 4. And then going to the right, 1, 2, 3. So since we're going to the right, it's a positive 3. So Ma is right. My slope, I'm going to stick it, I'll stick it right here. So my slope is going to be the rise, which is 4, over the run, which is 3. Even if I went the other direction, if I went down 4, that would have been a negative 4. And to the left 3, that would be a negative 3. But then I had to tackle a negative divided by a negative will give me a positive, which takes us right back to 4/3. I'm doing okay. Good, Mazzo. Good. All right. So, by looking at the tables, you're finding the pattern of your Y's over the pattern of your X's. By looking at the graph, you just need 2 points on the line, okay? That separates those grid markings. Nice and sweet, easy and clean. And then all you have to do is your rise over your run. Sometimes your rise may be going down negatively and then to the left negative. So just remember, a negative divided by a negative will give us our positive. All right. So going back to the explaining the X values cannot repeat, the best way that I would describe it, if I were to do a comparison, is, let's say we have people's names and we have birthdays. So we can say we have Mary, we have Ben, we have, we'll put Robert in there. Make it famous. Cody. All right. So let's say, what is today? I don't even know what today is. 28th? 29th. 29th. Okay, so it's August 29th. Let's say 10/5. Let's say 12/1. And we have, yeah, that'll be good enough. So let's say we got Mary, we have Cody, we have Robert, and we have Ben. Now, let's think logically. Is it possible for 2 people to have basically the same birthday? Is that logical? For 2 people to have the same birthday? Yes. So Jasmine said yes. Okay, yes. Michael saying yes. Okay. All right. Good. Now, is it logical, here I go, for one person, let's say Mary, to have one person to have multiple birthdays? Is that possible? Forget that whole leap year stuff. Like literally. No, right? That's not a function. No one was born August, put back in for them to be born in October. I know, every time I explain it this way, it's disgusting. And I'm so sorry. But you will never forget this lesson ever. Okay? So, right? Yeah, it would be strange. And seriously, I would be like, Mom, you are the best. I don't know why you would do that. Okay? So one person can't have multiple birthdays. This is when your X's are repeating. Okay? So it's not function. It's not doable. It's just not demure. Okay? It's gross. Okay? If you want to think of it relationship-wise, we got Mary, and say that instead of birthdays, it was like different peoples that she was dating. So Mary's on Maury Povich, basically, and dating like 4 people at the same time. Confusing. I don't know how anyone can do it, but some people really are good at that, okay? So she's dating multiple people. It's kind of rough. Next thing you know, she's on Maury Povich. They're wondering who the baby's father is. Next thing you know, they test this guy. Nope, you're not the father. This guy. Nope, you're not the father. Oh, this guy. He's got to be the one. Nope, he's not the father. She's running in the back like a lunatic. And everybody's like, oh my God, high-fiving everybody. So, anyhow, it's not good to have these multiples, right? Okay? She's like, okay, I'm good. you don't have to go any further. All right? So if you remember like the birthdays usually kind of sticks in people's mind. One person can't have multiple birthdays. Multiple people can have the same birthday. That means your Y's can repeat, but not your X's. Okay? I know. I digress. All right. So that's it for today. Okay. We worked a little bit. It's a little flasheroo. Okay. We worked a little bit on finding slope numerically. So how to get it from a table. Also kind of brought in a little bit of algebraically just to make sure you guys know that you're going to get the same answer either from algebraically or numerically. If you can't see the pattern in the tables, you're going to have to do it algebraically. It's easier to pick like your highest and your lowest so you have a nice little range. Okay. Then when it came to graphically, this is when you had your rise over the run. You need 2 points. And you're basically just making a small little triangle. Right triangle, in fact. Okay? That's all you're doing. You're working on your rise. If you had to go up, it's going to be positive. If you had to go down, it's going to be negative. And then your run. You're either going to the left, that's going to be negative. If you're going to run to the right, that's going to be positive. All right? You got to rise out of bed in order to run to the bathroom. Okay? Don't pee in the bed. That's gross. All right. Okay. Thank you so much. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and attention. That's what we have for tonight. If you want more information on my books, because I designed these math notebooks, just let me know. And if anything, you can go here to buy your books. But here's my thing. September 1st, for those that are also here on the line, September 1st, for the whole month of September, my notebooks are actually going to go on sale 50% off. It's a birthday celebration. So why not you reek a little bit from birthday gifts, right? I can never go to places that give away stuff for birthday stuff because the stuff that they give away, I don't eat that anymore, you know? So it's like, get yourself a free ice cream cone from Dairy Queen. All right, don't have a Dairy Queen near me. What's that going to do? All right. But if anything, I do private and small group tutoring. So if you're currently taking college algebra and you need some assistance on it and there's like a group of you guys, we can definitely get you a group rate on there. It'll be a lot more reasonable. And then plus we're all learning the same thing. So it makes it so much easier. Then if not, if you want to go a self-paced courses, I do have courses. All you have to do is just go here. This is my bleep. All right, so you can go there to sign up for the courses. It's like 107 videos, some practice sheets on there, and also some quizzes. And like I said, if you want the books, this is just the math notebook. It's usually 100 pages of them. But what I also have in the very back is reference sheets. So if you need your factor sheets from 1 to 200, the operations terminology, what words trigger what operations. We're looking at inequalities, interval notation, the rules for integers, just in case you forget. So it's all the stuff just to kind of bring up that memory. Order of operation, either in the U.S. and also internationally. The properties of exponents. Looked a little bit at linear. Oh, this looks familiar. We got our slope. Next time we meet, we're going to be doing a little bit more with that slope-intercept form. All right. as well as place values, decimal operation, fraction operation, what to do, how to convert from percent to fraction, fraction to decimal, system of equations, system of inequalities, graphing the inequality, as well as measures of central tendency, and then distance, speed, and time. That formula, just cover up what you're looking for. And arithmetic geometric sequences, all of this. And then also a little bit of geometry with the area and perimeter, and then Pythagorean's theorem. And this is all based off of Algebra 1, pre-algebra and Algebra 1. So the cover of this looks like this. I love my little lava lamps. All right, so this is for pre-algebra and Algebra 1. And then I also have a left-handed version for all my lefties out there. I got you. So we got a left-handed version of the notebook. Notice how it opens. All right, and you also get the same exact. So there's one for pre-algebra and Algebra 1. If you're currently taking, like say, intermediate math classes for a community college, you want to get the pre-algebra, Algebra 1 book. That'll be the best one for you. The other one, which I still have to order, is my Algebra 2 and pre-calculus version. So get more of the trig in there, more of the definition of the circles, more of the sine and cosine, sound waves, how to find your amplitude, your periods, and all that fun stuff. All right. So if not that, and then also next week, I'll be starting SAT prep for 11th graders. So if you know anyone that's in 11th grade that is trying to get some scholarships, because a lot of the colleges, they're looking at your 11th grade PSAT scores. So if you want to get something up, I'm running something for U.S. and Puerto Rican students. So because they haven't been in school for a minute, so we need to help as many people as we can. So if anything, if you want more information about that, just go ahead and DM me, or you can click on the Service Plus at the bottom of your screen. And what you do is you just send me basically an email, and then we can get in touch that way. All right. Let's see. Undefined. What was the other one? Oh, 0. Yep. So Roxy rocks. Okay, the one was undefined and the other one is a 0 slope. Okay, so the horizontal line is also called 0 slope. Okay, any questions? Any questions? And if you do, just go ahead and direct message me. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you're looking for a tutor, trust me, this is the perfect time to catch me, because I know once September hits, I'm starting to get a couple of my former clients back. So, yeah. It's gonna, like, Monday is ridiculously crazy. And you would think, oh, it's a holiday. No, because there's a lot of people that are giving out quizzes and exams. So if you need to catch me soon, because I'm going to definitely fill up. Michael, are you raising your hand? What are you doing? The website for the books and the tutoring, please. Sure. See if this. So you got the web is here, and for the books is here. So let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Okay. Yeah, tomorrow, it all depends on what's going on. But I definitely will be here at 7 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. But we're going to have to see what's going on for tomorrow. All right, perfect. Now, also, if you guys want the replays, I'm going to work on what happened with yesterday's as well as today's. You can go to my YT and then just type in ACG Math Tutoring or Audrey Codner. And if you can do these 5 things, that will be awesome. And there is a playlist that says TikTok Lives. So all of my TikTok Lives from February the 2nd, except for last night and tonight's, is on there. So if there is a concept that you're like, oh, I really need help with, like solving the equation in the line, I need that now. Well, then you can go there, and there's definitely just type in the search for the equation in the line, and you'll see a couple videos. So that is a free subscription. You're not paying for anything. I'm not bougie yet. So, but at the same time, now the tutoring, it is an additional cost. So I just want to make that clear because some people keep thinking that it's free. No. Okay, because that means now I'm breaking down concepts. All right. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So I will see you guys tomorrow evening, maybe tomorrow afternoon. I'm not sure. Because sometimes every time I try to schedule something happens. So if anything, I will definitely see you tomorrow night at 7 p.m. So you have a great evening. Be safe. I know it's a 3-day weekend for a lot of us, but still keep your head on a swivel, okay? I definitely want to see you guys coming back. All right. Have a great night. Take care. Not a problem. Not a problem. It's always my pleasure. All right. Have a good night, everyone. Take care. Bye now.